Um, so I wanted to share something with y'all that happened this morning during my med class. It was pretty amazing.
Med class?
Yeah, I teach a medical class. Thanks for. I do, yes.
Like medicine?
Yeah, like medicine, like bringing doctors and stuff like that.
Like, are you like a doctor?
No, I only play a doctor at school. Pretty cool. No, I
think doctors are
thanks.
Except for the one that told me that I need to
You do? What? You do?
So my medical careers class that happens in the morning, which is made for juniors and seniors. You guys want to hear it or not? You guys want to hear it? So I bring in. I have pretty incredible people that come in and talk. I have people who talk about being an emergency room physician. I have people come in and talk about being a nurse. People come in and talk about being a physician assistant. Talk about all these different levels. I bring in psychologists, psychiatrists. I bring in just a lot of different people who are related to medicine. So this morning I had Donor Alliance come in. Donor Alliance are the people who work with UNOS, and UNOS is the organization that if you are a organ transplant giver, so if you were to expire, aka die, you could donate your organs to other people that can live off of it. So they came in this morning. So she brought another woman, and the woman stands up, and all of a sudden up in Shilling Law on that huge thing, there's a picture of a 16-year-old girl who was this woman's daughter who was killed in a car accident in 2001. And then the next couple pictures were, this is so-and-so, she received my daughter's heart. She's now 33 years old and has kids of her own. This is so-and-so who received my daughter's liver. This is so-and-so who received my daughter's kidney. And it was really a heartfelt presentation. It was amazing to hear about. So then at the end of class, one of our students here at Cherry Creek walked forward and said, hey, I want you to know that my mom passed away a certain amount of years ago, and she donated her organs. Is there any way that I can find out, or my family can find out, who my mom's organs went to? So think about that. Your mom passes away, she donated organs, and all of a sudden, X amount of years after the fact, you're sitting there talking to the people who, had her organs distributed to other people. The lady reaches in her bag, she goes, here's my card, contact me. It's very possible we have letters from people who received your mom's organs, and we wait for the family to reach out to us before we give them back. You make that one work. Just think about so there's a student here right now who probably has a huge weight on her shoulders, but not really. A huge thought on her mind saying, wow, I might find out who got my mom's heart, lungs, kidneys, corneas, skin, pancreas.
You could donate skin?
Yeah, they donate to burn victims. So I mean, just think about that. That was a conversation that took place. It's the largest organ in your body. That took place this morning at about 8 o'clock this morning. So pretty heartfelt, pretty amazing to hear about that. I was floored. I had tears going down my cheeks, going, oh my gosh, like she might find out who or where her mom's organs went. Just floored me, just absolutely floored me. So thought it was pretty incredible. All right, let's do this. I think our board is lined up. If not, let's line it up. No, but thank you for it. I understand. I just noticed yesterday when I was writing it was a smidge off. right, so I wanted to talk about our some of the problems. So I'm looking right now at page 124. Again, this is not due this very moment. This will be due tomorrow. But taking a look at page 124, number 1, 2, 3, or 4. I will tell you on the test, you will see problem 1, 2, 3, and 4, similar type of problem. On Schoology, it will be a matching question. Okay, so it'll have problems 1, 2, 3, 4 listed, different problems, and then you either have to say that it's this slope, A, or this slope B, or undefined slope C, or zero slope D. Okay, so is there any on 1, 2, 3, or 4 you need help going over? Take an honest look at it, and it can be one or all of them. Yeah. Number 2. Could you read me what the points say on number 2, please?
-3, 2.
Uh-huh.
And then -3,
-3, I'm sorry?
11.
11, okay. So slope equation is this. And we're going to plug our values in. So here's a y, so I have 11 minus 2, and -3 minus -3. So that's going to give me 9 over -3 plus 3, which is 9 over 0. So if 0's under, it's vertical and undefined. Does that make sense? Cool. So undefined slope. So we'll list it like that for undefined. I think on the test we actually have the word undefined. Cool. Bless you. Bless you again.
Thank you.
Anything else on 1, 2, 3, or 4 you would like me to talk about, go over?
Is it a test or quiz?
It'll be a test. So part of it on Schoology, and part of it will be on pencil paper. The pencil paper part will be up front and back.
Will any of it be about the calculator?
Yes. The back page, I guess, or either the front or the back page of. So the front and the back page will be 2 problems. One problem will be here, draw the line of best fit, figure out the linear equation, and answer the question based on that. The back side will be, hey, use your calculator to find the line of best fit.
Number 4.
So you can use it.
Number 4? Yeah. I'll get you. Number 4. 316 and -17, 16. So it looks like we have a same number in the same spot, so this might be one of our special cases. Okay, so 16 minus 16, that's going to be 0 on top, right? Oh, okay, this one might work out. And then -17 minus 3. So 0 is on top, so that means my slope is 0 then. And that's a horizontal line. Okay, anything else on the front page, page 124, 1 through 7? Any of those you'd like me to talk about a little bit more? Yeah.
Okay, well, not that, but I think I did this last night. Is this the take-home test?
No.
What is it?
That was just, we have that option to do that, but good for you for trying.
Well, I did it, so
Good.
I did the wrong thing, so now I'm behind.
5 and 6, sure. All right. Number 5 says write an equation of the line passing through the point -4, 1, and is parallel to the line. Okay. So we have this equation, and then we have this point. Okay. So first thing I want to identify up here is I want to identify the slope. So the slope right here is 1/2, and they want to know. If I have a parallel slopes are always the same. Okay, so that's the first part of it. It says just to write an equation, so you kind of have a choice. Do you want to use this equation? Or do you want to use this equation? So the top equation works when we know a slope and a point. The bottom equation works when we know the slope and the y-intercept. So which one seems to be better, the top or the bottom? Top, yeah. This is definitely the equation we want to use because we know a point and the slope. So a parallel line means the slope has to be the same. So this 1/2 is going to come right here. This would be an x1, so that's going to go right there, and that's going to be your y1. So I'm going to get an answer of y minus 1 equals 1/2 x minus 4, so that's x plus 4. So this is the equation. This is the equation that works. Now, you might have this type of question that says, hey, put this equation into this form. Okay, if it just says equation, leave this. But if it says, hey, put it into slope-intercept form, that means I need to go through and do the math. So I'm going to distribute here and here. And then add 1 to both sides. So you only have to do that if it asks you to take it, find it, put it in slope-intercept form, or solve it for y. Okay. Number 6 is a similar problem. It says write the equation that happens to be perpendicular. So perpendicular slopes are flip over opposite signs. May I move off of this screen? Okay. Number 6. All right, so I have this equation. It looks like the same equation we had. And I have this point. Okay? So we want to find the line perpendicular. So right now I'm going to look here, and I know that my slope for this happens to be 1/2. But my perpendicular slope is the flip over of 1/2 with another sign. So if I flip 1 over 2 over, I get 2 over 1. So this is my perpendicular slope. Does that make sense so far? Again, it's asking for the equation. So we might be able to get to this point and call it good. So this would be here, this would be here, and this would be here. So I'm going to get y minus -4 equals -2, x minus 1. Clean this up a little bit. You might be safe to leave this as your answer. If it says put it in slope-intercept form, that means to get y by itself. If that's the case, then change this to where you distribute here and here. And then subtract 4, excuse me. Okay, so this answer might be correct if it says find the equation, but if it says, hey, find the equation and put it in slope-intercept form, you might have to take it all the way to that.
Mister, why would you put the first slope in for the point slope form?
If it was parallel, but they wanted the perpendicular.
Okay.
So that bottom blue or the green equation, those are perpendicular to the given equation. They also contain the point 1 comma -4.
Okay.
Anything else up on that front page, 124? Feel good?
Would number 7 be on the test?
I don't recall seeing that. I really don't. So what I'll do is our test is Friday, right? So let me double check it. So will you do me a favor? Will you put an asterisk number next to number 7 or a start and ask me tomorrow? So I'll double check that today. And if that's the kind of problem is there, great. If it's not, let's not worry about it.
Okay.
Cool? All right, I now switched over to page 125. Number 8, you probably won't see that kind of question. That's looking for your better R value. Let's not worry about 8. But let's focus on 9 or 10. Any of those you want to see, or both. Yeah. 10, you got it. All right, number 10 says, Graham has 200 pages of his English book to read. Some of you have been in that situation. Excuse me. 4 days later, he still has 140 pages left to read. Okay? So think of it this way. He has 200 pages to read at day 0. Okay? That's the English teacher saying, hey, tonight you need to read 200 pages. Okay? Here's a book. Read the first 200 pages. And then, after 4 days later, I think I just flip-flopped these actually. Actually, I need to flip both of my points over. So I'm going to change this to First day, 200. Fourth day, still has 140 pages to read. So it appears this person, Graham, has read 60 pages so far. Right? Okay. Write a linear function that models the number of pages he has left to read as a function of time. Okay? So our time is the x component. So I wrote those backwards. And my y is my pages left to read. Okay? So first day, hey, you have 200 pages to read. You have 200 pages to read. That is that a special point right now? Is 0, 200 a special point? Or is it just a random point? Yes, sir.
It's a special point because it actually begins the slope.
Yeah, not to begin the slope. Well, yeah, you're right saying that. But this, because that is a 0, this right here is my b value. So y equals mx plus b is my y-intercept. So what does the b value mean in the context of this problem? I have 200 pages assigned to read. After the first day, if you read a little bit, you might have less. Right? So let's find the slope to this. So my slope equation is this. So I'm going to get, let's see, 140 minus 200, 0 minus 4. What is that? Negative 60 over negative 4, which is 15.
So you read 50 pages a day?
Yeah, read 15 pages a day.
Wait, why would it be negative? Oh, wait,
I don't think it's negative.
why is it 0 when it's 4? If you do 1.
Oh, I went backwards, didn't I? Oh, wait. 140 minus 200. Oh, shoot. That should have been 4 minus 0, which that would have been positive, so that would have been negative. That works better. Thank you for making that correction. So I read 15 pages a day. That's my slope. Okay? My slope is negative 15. Now, do I have enough information to use y equals mx plus b right now?
Yes.
I do. Because I had my b value found 0 to 100 and my slope, so I'm going to get y equals negative 15x plus 200. Okay? So let's see what this means. Write a linear function that models the number of pages it has to left to read. So as we plug numbers in for x, we have a certain amount of numbers. What are the x and the y-intercepts? What do they represent? So if I had this graph, I'd have 0 to 100 right here. And then it's got a slope that's going down to this. So if I had read at this continuous speed, 15 pages a day, there's going to be a certain day that I'm going to be done with the book. Yes? So we could do it a number of ways, but if we wanted to find out what this value was here, it's going to be blank, comma, 0. Is that 0 an x or a y?
Y.
It's a y. So if I plug that 0 in here, I'm going to be able to find where my x-intercept actually happens. So I get that. 0 equals negative 15x plus 200. Subtract 200 from both sides. Divide each side by 15. Anybody have a calculator available?
Negative 15.
It comes out,
Right? Oh.
No,
it should be positive, right? So it's negative, negative, right? So what is 200 divided by 15? 13.3? Thank you. It keeps repeating. Okay. So just a little bit after your 13th day, so between your 13th and your 14th day of this assignment, you finished the book. All right?
Yeah.
So that's what the x and the y-intercept mean in the context of the problem. Speaking of that, some of you are doing the Schoology stuff. It's not in the grade book yet, but it's being graded. It's due tonight at 11:59 p.m., yes?
Yeah.
Answers I'm not looking for, and I had somebody already post this as an answer. I don't know. Wow, thanks for reading the problem. Thanks for even attempting. I don't know. Somebody in one of my other periods. Sheesh Louise. All right. Any other questions on page 125 you would like to see? But just to let you know, so that person feels good about themselves if they're watching the video, I gave them 1 point because they tried the problem and they just wrote, I don't know.
Why would you do that?
Because he's
So nice.
As I said, just by trying it, you're going to get at least 1 bonus point.
Well, they didn't even try.
I understand. Don't worry. It's
So
not
you're saying
that this particular student has a 7% in my class.
Oh.
So it's not going to get him to pass. I was just grateful that that person found the computer to use.
7%.
That's actually
Yeah, you
so
got to
bad.
try to get a 7%.
I remember I had an 11% in history last year.
Okay.
I missed through it.
Any other questions up through number 10 on those review? Anything else up through number 10?
Is like number 9 just like you have to basically like do
That?
thing.
Doing that?
The same, yeah. So basically you have to do the same thing.
Yep. Are we good up through number 10? Number 11. I think I'll just work this problem. Okay, because that's kind of our trend. Let's see. Bob works at an Infinity car dealership. Oh, you know what we know about Bob? You guys want to know what we know about Bob? He spells his name backwards. Isn't it B-O-B? Yes, it is. Okay, he gets paid $1,750 a month base salary plus $3,250 per every Infinity auto sold. Okay, so let me ask you all this. This is problem 11. Let's think a little critically about this. Let's read this one more time, make sure we feel good. It says, Bob works at an Infinity car dealership. Doesn't really matter what car dealership he works for, it's the same type of idea. Bob's going to get $1,750 a month as a base. And then for every car Bob sells, he gets $3,250 for. Okay? You understand the equation? So if Bob sold no cars, how much money does Bob make that month? What? $1,750. Yeah. You know what? I want to be hired by this dealership and just never show up and just let them pay me $1,750. Yeah.
If Bob sold a car every day for a month, he'd have
A ridiculous amount of money.
he'd have more money than what people pay for a year.
Absolutely. Oh, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, so if Bob sold 30 or 31 cars, depending upon the month, or 28 or 29, I guess, on a leap year in February, that'd be an awful lot of money old Bob would make. Okay, so it says create a linear function representing Bob's monthly salary as a function of the number of cars. Okay, so how much does Bob make no matter what? $1,750. Okay, so Bob has a real bad month, keeps talking to people, but people are like, nah, I don't want to buy it. I want to go buy the Honda or something. Okay, right? Hey, how much does Bob make? How much does Bob make for every car Bob sells?
3,250.
What?
3,250.
3,250.
Yes.
So for every car Bob sells, so this represents number of cars. This would be his paycheck. Does that make sense? So if Bob sold 0 cars, I'd plug 0 in, and Bob gets his $1,750. Right? So what does 3,250 represent in this problem? I know it's the number of cars, or how much he makes per car. What does 3,250 represent in this problem? Is it the y-intercept? It's the what? It's the slope. Yeah. This This is the slope. This is my B value or my y-intercept. Right? Does that make sense? Hey, that's not a bad gig. I tell you what, I'd like to get $1,750 for doing nothing. I bet you Bob wouldn't work at that place too long if he had a whole bunch of 0 months. Bob, you just show up and collect a paycheck, don't you? Yep. But I guess you could have a bad month. I don't know. I don't sell cars, so I don't know.
My uncle does.
Cool. It says create a linear function representing Bob's monthly salary as a function of number of cars he sells. Do we have that? Okay. What is the y-intercept and what does it represent? What is that y-intercept? 0, 1750. What does that mean in the context of this problem? Go ahead.
The amount he makes per month without selling any
Okay.
cars.
Yeah, so if Bob sells there's 0 cars, he still makes $1,750. That seem okay? What is the slope and what does it represent? Well, we have 3250 as the slope. What does it mean? Yeah, so our slope here, so I'm talking about the slope, Bob makes an extra $3,250, $3,250 for each car sold. Okay? So if he sells 1 car, he would make $3,250 plus $1,750. If he sells 2 cars, he'd make $3,250 times 2 plus $1,750. If he sells 10 cars, ooh man, Bob sells 10 cars, $32,050 plus another $1,750. That's a good month. Woo! That might be good. All right. How many cars would Bob need to sell to make at least $15,000 a month? Yeah. 4.07. So what'd you do with the 15,000? Where'd you put it? Or did you just keep adding up?
I just subtracted 1,750 and divided by 3,250.
Oh, okay. So hang on, let me see if we can make you do what you did. So my linear equation, what was my linear equation? I'm sorry. Y equals what? 3250, was that it? X plus 1750. All right, so Bob, if he made $15,000, so you said you subtracted 1750, right? So that cancels. What does that come out to? What's 15,000 minus 1750? 15,000 subtract 1750. I don't have anything special. 13,250. Thank you. And then you said you divided by 3,250. Okay, so that cancels. So x equals, you said how much? I'm sorry? 4.07 cars. So Bob has to sell basically 4 cars to make right around $15,000 for the month. Is that a pretty good year? Month? That's $180,000 a year. It's not a bad gig. How much would Bob make if he sold 23 cars? So Bob had a really good month. 23 cars were sold. So where do I plug the 23 in? To X or Y? X. So I'm going to plug that right in there. So I get Y equals 3250 times 23 plus 1750. So 3250 times 23 is how much? 3250 times...
7475.
And then will you add 1750 to that, please?
Is 76,500.
Really? 3250 times 23,
Yes.
and then added
Wait,
1750.
wait, okay.
Times 23.
32.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Times 23?
Yeah,
Plus
3250.
23
That's
equals
76,000.
76,500
76,500.
17
Really?
That's a
is
good month.
oops 76,000.
Man, he's going on vacation. Bob made a pretty good month. I mean, he makes $76,000 in a month, man. Shoot, do you guys know the national average of what a family of 4 brings in is $54,000 a year? So, old Bob Rooney up here, man, he's on top of the world in a month. Oh, wow.
Go you.
We like Bob. Even though he spells his name backwards, we still like the guy. Huh?
You make some pretty bad debt.
All right.
But I laugh and I'm so okay.
Yes?
If you sold 31 cars, it'd be
Oh.
100,000.
So that's called pay for performance. You're a really good salesman. You should make more money than the guy who does nothing, right?
That's basically higher than like
You get 76,000 a month.
Oh, easily. All right. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Number 12 talks about Loveland ski area claims to have received a record amount of snowfall this winter. They're predicting. I guess it should have been last winter, right? 5 days after the last snow, there was 56 inches of snow on the ground. After 15 days, there was 60 inches. Okay. So let's take a look at number 12. Good problem. Really good problem. Number 12. It says, 5 days after the last snow, there was 56 inches of snow on the ground. And then after 15 days, there was 60 inches of snow. So it looks like in a 10-day span of time, 4 inches of snow got on the ground. Agree? 4 extra inches. Now, there might have been some melt off or whatever, but let's figure out our linear equation. Are either of these values right now the y-intercept? No. Yeah, so neither of my x values are 0. So I'm going to find my slope first. So I have 60 minus 56. 6 minus, and then 15 minus 5. So that's going to give me 4 over 10. So I can reduce 4 over 10 to 2 over 5. Okay, so this is my slope. So my slope in the context of this problem means this. For every 2 additional inches of snow I get, or Loveland gets, 5 days passed. For every
Is that 45?
2 additional snow, 5 days passes. 2 inches extra snow in 5 days, that's not a lot of snow. But hey, I'm not a ski resort, so we need to figure out the rest of the linear equation. So let's do this. Let's pick this point here, and we're going to plug into this equation. So I'm going to get y minus 60 equals 2 over 5, x minus 15. Is that okay? And I think they'll want us to probably solve this for y, so I'm going to distribute here and here. That's 2 times 15 is 30. 30 over 5 is 6. So then I'm going to go ahead and add 60 to both sides. So this is my linear equation based on those 2 points. All right. What does the y-intercept represent? The y-intercept, so So I got 0,66. What does that mean in the context of this problem?
That you start off with.
Yeah, so they started saying, hey, we had a record winter snowfall. Okay? So as far as seasons go, I think what was it, December 22nd we decided it was the first day of winter? So that's how much snow is on the ground before winter even started. Okay? So before winter started, there was 66 inches of snow on the ground. Did I do that right? Yeah. Sheesh. Ah. Seems kind of weird. Hang on. Am I off? 4 over 10. That's 2 over 5. That works. All right. What is the X-intercept and what does it represent? Hang on. So if we were to talk about the X-intercept, what was my equation that we just made? Y equals what? 2 over 5 x plus 66? So 66 is here, so this is what it's doing. So we want to know, what does the X-intercept represent? What does that represent? 0, yeah. So this is like when winter started. So there's a certain amount of days going backwards, and we can count back. So I don't know, sometime in October, I don't know. So this would have represented when no snow existed. No snow existed. And then when will the snow depth be 20 inches on the ground at Loveland? So we'd have to plug 20 into here and solve it. Subtract that, so that's negative 46. Let's multiply both sides by 5 over 2, yes? So that's 5 times negative 23, help me out. 15, 1. So 65 days before winter started, so before December 22nd, there was 20 inches of snow already on the ground. It's back in October, before October, maybe even September, I don't know. Woo. How do we feel? All right. If you need to borrow a graphic calculator, let's do this last problem real quick. We're going to go quickly. Need it? Anyone here in this row need it? 1, 2, 2. Anyone in this row need it? Anyone in this row? This row? 1, 2, 3. Anyone in this row? 1, 2. Anyone need one? You're the only one. All right. So I'm going to quickly go through this calculator. Let's make sure we do it. So things that we have to make sure we do. Let's clear our information. So on my calculator, ready? First off, turn your calculator to on. Mine's on. Great. I'm going to go second. Go back. I'm going to go second memory. I'm going to reset my memory. Okay, again, that clears things out. Good. We should want to turn our diagnostics back on. Is everyone here so far? So let's turn our diagnostics. So I'm going to go second catalog. And I'm going to go down to D. And I'm going to arrow down to where it gets to diagnostics. enter. Second, 0.
Oh,
And then hit the D, which is the x to the negative 1. And then go down and turn your diagnostics on. By doing this, this is going to allow your R and your R squared value to show up. All right, so problem number 13 says, hey, let's do this on a graphing calculator. My x is going to go from 1 to 8, and my y is some other values. So how do I start plotting my data? Stat, good. Okay, so I go stat, I go to edit, and under list 1, I'm going to go, and this is number 13 on page 127, I'm just going to plug in my values. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then L2 is going to be this information. Again, this is on page 127 at the bottom. While you're all plugging that in, let's read it. It says, following data represents the height of a child in inches versus age in years. Use a graphing calculator to sketch a graph and then answer each question, okay? Does everybody have their stuff in there? All right, so I'm going to walk through quickly, and this will be recorded, so if you want to try it at home. Okay, so I now need to turn my stat plot on, so I'm going to go second y equals. I'm going to turn my plot on. Okay? Once I do that, once my plot's on, I can go right to zoom and stat, which is 9 on mine, which shows my data. If I want to find my line of best fit, I'm going to go stat, calculate, number 4, and I'm going to go down to calculate once I have it there. So that's going to be my linear equation. And I would say best way is write that down. So I rounded it to 2 decimals, so y equals 3.90x plus 20.93. If I want to see what this looks like on my graph, the simplest way to do is you write it down, round it to 2 places, go into y equals. Remember your x is this key right here. And then once you plot that in there, you can get that. Y equals 3.90x plus 20.93. All right, guys, girls, I have 2 calculators so far. Oh, right here. No namer? Recycle it for me.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're still going to review. Thank you.